She going to town on that thing. Oh.
Oops. Ready?
Yippers.
Yep. All right. Hey guys.
What's going on?
I'm Angela.
And I'm Ron.
And this is
Chatter of
Opinion. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
So today is our first episode of our 5-part series.
Okay.
We are doing the 5 love languages, and that was written by Gary Chapman, who was a pastor. Very popular book. A lot of couples tend to take this quiz that we have posted prior for you guys to take, and it's interesting to see how people communicate their love and how they receive their love.
Okay, so to go over the 5 love languages again, we have words of affirmation,
acts of service, quality time, physical touch, and receiving gifts.
Right.
Today we are concentrating on words of affirmation.
Okay. Words of affirmation is what we're going to concentrate on today.
Yes.
So just like the commercial that we had put together prior to this, can you explain just a little bit of what words of affirmation is all about?
Okay, so it's basically showing your love to your partner by being like complimentary, encouraging, giving them praise, affectionate, but with words.
Oh.
If that helps. Like, I love you. This meal was great.
Right.
Thank you for doing this. You know, that type of stuff. Praising them.
Okay.
That is what kind of boosts them, is hearing you tell them you love them. Some people want actions. Some want the words.
Something verbal.
The verbal.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's kind of difficult when you look into that, because sometimes people, especially when it comes to expressing themselves, are kind of weird with words.
Correct. They don't know how to express their feelings. So some people aren't good with telling you that I love you, or I'm proud of you, or ooh, you look sexy today. They just assume you know.
Okay, so does this include like text messages and stuff like that too? All right.
Yes, it does. It just, again, words of affirmation, like you are just confirming and affirming your love for me, and I prefer it verbally.
Okay, I can see that.
Right? And so whenever you are a person who wants someone's love to be shown that way, right? So maybe a scenario, like how would you think that it would like speak to you? Like, do you have an example in mind where you would be like, okay, I could see that? I just gave a few examples, but from a guy's perspective, I guess I should be more clear. From a guy's perspective, how could a woman, if that was your love language, your primary love language, how would you like a woman to come to you? Oh, do we have a call?
I think so. Let's see who we got. Uh-oh.
Ron just hung up on him.
I just hung up on somebody.
You want me to push it? I don't think you're...
Leave your message for...
Ron hung up on him.
I did hang up on somebody. So if you called in...
call back.
Call back. You know what I mean? We were talking about words of affirmation. So if you did call in, call back.
Look, it's not...
Let's see who called.
Hello.
Hello, you are on with Chatter of Opinion. Who are we talking to?
This is Kiana.
Okay, Kiana.
Hey, Kiana.
So, Kiana, today's topic is words of affirmation. Do you know if that is your love language or not?
That is 2,000% my love language.
Okay.
2,000% me.
2,000%. So how, Kiana, how is it if you had your man or someone who was pursuing you, what type of things would they say to make you feel loved?
Oh.
And what situations?
So my biggest situation, my biggest scenario would be like leaving notes.
Oh, that's a good one.
Notes is not something that not everyone does. It's a lost art. So if you sat down and wrote me a note, that means you took the time out to stop and think about me, to write me something to give to me.
So can I
And
say
so
too, knowing you, Kiana, because
Yes.
Kiana is a poet and she likes words, correct? You like poetry and words, and I believe you also do cards. Am I right on that?
Yes.
Kiana, yes. So
Yes,
she's
yes.
very big with words, and so I could see her really being interested in somebody who's pursuing her to write down those feelings for her.
Okay.
Would you agree with that?
Yeah,
Kiana?
and I feel like for sure. I also feel like, again, most people are really not that well with their words, and so I feel like it can get lost in translation because people show their love rather than say their love. And
Yes.
if you're not good with words, then you're going to hold back from that. However, if you don't know, you don't know what you don't know. So when people take the time to say something about how they feel, or something towards you, that really sticks with somebody, and you never know what could really stay with someone, and it just adds a little extra oomph when it's someone that you like.
Now, in the dating scene, because you're like mid-20s, do you find it hard to find a significant other that is good with words? Because I do feel, and correct me if I'm wrong, that people in your age group, because you guys are so big on more of the electronics, that a lot of people don't know how to interact in person. So do you find
Agreed.
it? Yeah.
Agreed. I feel like the biggest one, especially in my age group, would be quality time. So it's like, if I'm spending more time with you, then that means I like you. If I'm texting you all day, or if I'm interacting with you all day, then I'm spending time with you through text. So that's how I like you. But as far as words, because like you want more in-depth conversation, and you're like reaching for that. But it's like, well, I like you because I'm with you.
Yes,
we're spending time together.
I've heard that so much, where people like, you should just know because I'm with you.
Right.
Right.
Well, I have a question.
You don't know what you don't know, and you want to hear it.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So I have a question. In being a guy, I have actually two questions, and the first one would be, if your love language is words of affirmation, do you use those words for your significant, even though his love language or her love language is not words of affirmation?
No.
Right.
And so that's where I messed up for the longest time, because I would speak to someone in my love language not knowing what theirs is.
Yes.
Right.
So once you know what the other person's love language would be, so let's say yours is quality time, then okay, what are things that we can do to spend quality time? Because even though I'm trying to communicate or show you that I really like you, you're not going to receive it the way that you actually receive it.
Right.
So there's just that basis of needing to understand what your love language is.
Okay.
Because you can spend time with me all day, but if you're not telling me how you feel about me, or you're telling me that you like spending time with me, then it's like, okay, this is nice, but like, what are we really doing?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So
then it could be lost in miscommunication. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, I didn't mean to cut you off. So that leads me to my next question is, if I know your love language is words of affirmation, how do you kind of separate, or how would I separate me just telling you things just to tell you things? You know what I mean? If I know that you love words of affirmation, when do I separate as a man telling you something that I really feel about you, or just telling you something just to make you happy because I know you want to hear
Ooh, see, that's good. That's where discernment comes in. That's where discernment comes in.
it.
But you gotta, again, like with that kind of stuff, it's like once you really start getting to know somebody, you'll really know how kind of like their mechanisms are, their mannerisms in a way. So it's like, okay, if this person is really going out their way to tell me this, like I know that this is coming from a place. If I know you pulled it from a poem, or you're just out the gate with this all the time, then I know something's got to be up, because you have to really know how the person speaks. If this is how they're speaking all the time, then okay, this is what it is. But if not, what's really happening?
I think too, it has to do with, how do I say, it has to do with like also how you say telling them these things just because it sounds good type thing, right?
Well,
but also, what if I'm your significant other? That doesn't mean we're going through the drive-through at Burger King and you're like, hi sweetie, thank you, you know, the person comes on the speaker to get your order and you're like, hi sweetie, you know, like you just have those words. It's like, I kind of want you to keep those for me, like the little like names and the
see,
no. Because if you're like that with everyone,
But
then how do I? Go ahead, Kiana.
I would want to find somebody's love language later. Like you kind of get to know them a little bit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And then after a while, we're like, okay, so I noticed that you like, I wouldn't even use the word love language. Like, but I noticed that you really like spending a lot of time together. Is that something that you would really want to do or not? Because it'll show up before you even really try to define it on what the actual love language
Right.
is.
Yeah, you can kind of, well, sometimes you can tell, but I feel nowadays people don't know how to communicate their wants.
They may not. And like I said, if I know that's what you want, then my game sometimes will
use that
cater
against
towards
you.
Well, it'll cater towards, I know that she likes to be told this, that, and the other. So I'm just going to do it just because I know that she likes for me to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Not saying it's not genuine. It's just like, oh my God, I have to do it. You know what I mean? I have to tell her good morning. I have to tell her that I appreciate her. I have to tell her good job.
But you just made it. Why? You just made it sound like you're doing. Well, I'm doing it because she's forcing me to. No, you should be doing it because you know that that's what your woman wants.
I would agree, but there are people that if you do it, it becomes a routine, and you have to do it. Like you don't never tell me. You don't never say. You never blah blah blah. You see what I'm saying? So then I would have to do it just because I know that's what you want. I'm not saying that I don't mean it, but it's just I'm doing it just because I know if I don't do it,
isn't that
something's wrong.
For anything?
No.
Yes, you're looking at the
negative
aspect of it.
That, because if you're saying it, if I have to do this, that's not coming from a place where it's like this is what I want to do.
Right.
So then there's a dependence on it when. I mean, then that's a whole different conversation and situation.
Right, but let's say I love you to death. But let's say I love you to death. You know what I mean? And we've been in this relationship for a minute. I'm all about you, but I'm just not that vocal to be telling you how I think about you or how I feel about you on a regular basis.
Then you ain't for me.
Ooh, Lord.
On a regular basis. I mean, again, there's that dependency on that kind of language. There's got to be that balance.
Yeah.
So you're saying, oh, I know this is what you want. Like I know you need words of affirmation, so I have to give it to you every day. You're like, no.
Right.
Look, this is where I'm at with you. I really feel like this is really good. I like how I spend time with you. You know, maybe I'm not the biggest on expressing my words all the time, but just know I really appreciate you. And even though my words are far and few between, I mean what I say.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Good.
Because you can what is it? You can overdo it real easy.
Correct.
For me, like if you're giving me words of affirmation every single day, it's like okay.
It doesn't seem genuine.
I appreciate it.
But then again, how does?
But if I know that you're not vocal, then it's like, wow, he really said something. That means a lot because I know this is not normal of him, but he knows that this means a lot.
Okay.
Yeah. C says, well, I see it as love being a sacrifice anyways. Yeah, like there's compromise, right? Yeah.
Agreed.
So you'll have to sacrifice something to be a good fit with someone. I totally agree. Like, yeah, I may not be good with words, but I am going to drop those lines to you every so often so that you feel the love that I feel for you.
Yeah, I get that part, but like I'm saying, if I know that's what you want, I know eventually that I'm going to have to continue on letting you know this and praising you because that's your love language. It's difficult because then I think eventually that I'm just going to be saying things just to be saying.
But you make it sound like it's a chore. We're not saying just because I want you to like compliment me and encourage me. That doesn't mean every word out of your mouth is going to be praising and saying you love me every second. No, it's just at those right moments. And if you know me well enough, you're going to know when it's the right time to say those things.
Okay. I get that.
Cool.
I get that.
Agreed. Like even if gifts, if somebody likes quality time versus you just writing somebody a note for the birthday, then it's like, oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
But like you didn't give me what it was that I really received.
Okay.
So you gotta know them key moments. I think there's key moments where you really know that your whoever's love language, and that's whenever you can really do that. But as far as like knowing that this is what you have to do and saying, oh, well, I know they like this, so I have to do that, that's more of a responsibility that you're taking on to yourself when it's not necessary. But you know it means a lot whenever you act on it in those sincere moments.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Yeah. All right. I see that. I'm just saying, like the bottom line to it for me is sometimes when somebody has a love language as far as like words of affirmation, and I know that you want to hear it, sometimes I have to slide that into the daily routine because I know that's what you want to hear.
Right.
Not necessarily.
But not overdoing it because we're not trying to make
you can't overdo it. It's gotta be authentic.
And yes, and we're not here to try to make you be something you're not, but we do. When you feel the time is right, we would like you to express the feelings that you have by telling me the feelings.
Right, and that's what Monica says. It's got to be genuine, not just what we want to hear.
And Crystal says you got to stay.
Or even
go ahead.
Even someone like sending you a song. Hey, these words made me think about you.
Yeah,
you know,
that's a good
hope
one.
You have a good day, and that's it. Like you can be creative. You can be creative with it. Well, it doesn't just have to be I'm saying it to you all the time, or hey, like when the notes that I like. Hey, just leave a note on the car. Have a good day. Like wow, that's nice.
Even by doing that, if they're not good with their words, I would accept that. Like if they don't say a lot because they aren't good with their words, I would accept like, hey, I heard this song and it made me think of you and I really wanted to share it with you because this is how I feel.
But what if the song is not even you? You'd be like, what the?
Babe, you're so negative.
It came from a good place. It's gotta come from a good place.
Yeah, it has to. I agree. Come on. Crystal says you got to stay consistent. If you genuinely love and care for this person, you should do it naturally.
See, consistency is the key, but like I said, people get into relationships and it's not consistent though. Like I said,
hanging up. I'm hopping in the chat. Y'all are great.
What's that? I think she had to go.
Oh.
Well, I appreciate Kiana for calling in. Her love language was words of affirmation. We really appreciate her spending time to talk to us. If you want to chime in on your on this words of affirmation, you want to call in. The number is 505-528-5653, which is posted in the chat.
And Keisha said, how I show love is through acts of kindness. How I like to receive it is through words of affirmation.
Okay.
So that's a good take on it.
So you want to do something for me, and then you want me to tell you thank you and praise you for doing something for me.
That's what it sounds like.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go to the board. What we got?
All right. So of course, words of I can't speak today. Thank you. Words of affirmation. Expressing admiration, complimenting your partner, words that build them up, Like you're
Okay.
doing a great, or even like say if I don't know, maybe they started a new career, like building them up. You know what? You've come so far. You used to work here and now, you've stepped up in the ladder. I'm very proud of you. Like just something simple like that. Um, of course, we had said the definition is spoken affection, praise. Oh, you did hey, the way you decorated our house for the holidays or in general, you did such a great job. I really love it.
Right.
Encouragement. What would be a good encouraging
Encouragement. It's
scenario?
about like when you're going for a job or something, or you just started a job and you say, you know what, hey, I know it's difficult right now, but I got you. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? You got this. Uh, uh, as time progresses, you will be, or you will get to wherever you
Mhm.
need to go to. Kind of on a supportive level.
Yes, support. That's a good one. Or if you're going through something, for your partner to be like, you know what, you're strong willed, you're this and that, like you got this, I
Yeah.
believe in you, those type of things. And compliments.
Okay.
Oh, you look good today, babe. Or, ooh, I love that dress on you. Like these are just simple things that people can do. Like that costs you no money.
Mm.
Right? Words cost you no money by just speaking how you feel.
Yeah, but words are powerful though.
They
You know
are
what I
powerful.
mean?
Exactly.
Yeah.
When used in the right way, it can be so
Well,
powerful.
using the wrong way, they can be powerful. What are you
Well,
talking about? Words in general are powerful. So when it comes to these words of affirmation, you really have to think about what you're going to say and process it in a way to make that other person feel loved and accepted. Because if you don't, then it can easily backfire on you.
yeah, I agree. Now, speaking of backfire, on the other end of dealing with someone whose love language is words of affirmation, the negative part is like harsh words and criticism tear them down. So,
Yeah.
yeah, don't always be like, you didn't do that right. Um, you know, I don't know, you washed the laundry and colored my shirt. Like, what are you thinking? Like, just kind of,
Right. Because you're talking about words of
criticizing.
affirmation, that if a person is on that level, that means that they like to be praised. So anything outside of
Is
positivity on a
opposite. It's
conversation
gonna hurt.
is going to, yeah, hurt bad though. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? It's not going to be like, oh, okay, they just said this. I think if words of affirmation is your love language, it's always going to be dissected. You know what I mean? So when you
Yes.
dissect the words, every single word has a meaning.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? And that could be bad in a way. Like I said, I have to think about, okay, how am I going to say this?
Right.
And if I do say this, it has to be, even if it's negative, it has to be negative in a positive way.
Negative in a positive
Yeah,
way.
I'm going to tell you, you didn't do something, but positively.
A little more
Like,
warm and
yeah,
finesse.
you forgot to wash those dishes last night, but you've been washing them for this past week. So, I get it. You might have been a little tired.
Yeah. Hey, babe, I noticed you didn't do the dishes. Would you like me to help out? Did you
See,
need what?
that's tippy toeing. Like, hey, you better get in there and wash some dishes. No, no, I'm just playing. But that's how it
Clearly,
is
he's
sometimes.
not good with words of
but
affirmation.
but the words of affirmation, sometimes it has to be on a positive note. If not, then it can be a little sticky when it comes to the communication part of
Kiana says, "Give me the compliment sandwich."
it.
Yeah,
So you want everything stacked up as
yeah.
positive, but you don't like to take it in a
You don't do
negative
good
manner.
with right.
Right.
Okay, so also negative with dealing with someone who prefers words of affirmation is making requests rather than demands.
What does that mean?
Like, hey, can you help me? Well, like, how do I say? Hey,
Oh, you say it for the person. I make a
yeah, like I
request
shouldn't
versus
have
telling you.
to, yeah, like I shouldn't have to tell you to love on me, right?
Right.
Like, I wish you would just tell me you love me, like share your feelings for me, like I don't know, am I making sense? Like,
Suggestive versus demanding.
yeah, like I shouldn't have to demand it from you. But also on the other end, don't demand things from me, because again, it's more of the harsh way you say it. So if by not bringing me down, if you need something from me, I would rather you request it rather than, hey, I need you to do this, or you're gonna do this. I do better with, if you could be like, hey, if you get a chance, can you make my rice? Not, hey, you need to make the rice.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's just like the finesse of the way you say things.
Well, it just depends on the your relationship and how your relationship is built. Some people, no matter if it's words of affirmation or not, they like that straightforward. Tell me what I need to do. You know what I mean?
So Kiana says, you can give me the criticism as the meat. So Kiana, with the compliment sandwich, are you saying give me a compliment and then tell me what you want to tell me, even if it's negative, and then follow with another positive? Is that what you see by the say? Is that what you mean by the sandwich?
Yes. And you should always end it on a positive note anyway.
Yeah.
So okay, I get that.
And then the last one that I found was that people who prefer words of affirmation, they want to be spoken to like adult to an adult rather than a parent to a child in the way that you speak to them. Okay. And so I know in my job, it's hard for me with certain people that I deal with because I'm there to audit things and tell people when something's wrong, usually, right?
Right.
So the way that I just tell them, hey, I found this, I need you to correct it, blah, blah, blah. Some people are like, cool. Whereas other people feel like I'm parenting them I'm like, well, either way, your job is your job and I need to tell you how to do it correctly, but they prefer a certain way for me to say it instead of being direct. So there are people that I have to say it in a different way with a little more finesse rather than just being like, hey, I found this issue, please fix it. They kind of want me to like sugarcoat it a bit or not talk to them as they perceive to be like a parent to child.
Right.
If that makes sense.
That. Yeah, I can see that.
The finesse of the words.
Yeah. So words of affirmation is like I said, it can be a little tricky. I can't see two people that have a love language of words of affirmation being the same. Ooh, that would be corny right there, boy. That conversation
would be a lot.
Yeah.
But because we're not those people.
And it might work.
Right.
You know what I mean?
May work for people who do like that. That is their love language. So we can't judge it, Ron.
I'm not judging. I'm just saying it could be difficult. Like, hey, baby, you look good today. No, you look good today. What did you do today? I thought about you. Oh, no, I thought about you today.
Again, that may work for them. That's
a lot.
Not for you. We're not those people.
That's a lot.
Yeah. When Ron shares his feelings with me is like far and how do you say few and far between. I accept when he does, but I don't expect it because that's just not him. I don't need it neither though all the time. It's just nice to hear it once in a while. Like just for you, because you're not good with sharing your feelings anyways. But I don't require that. That's not my primary. So it doesn't affect us. That's what I'm saying. It's not a huge
affirmation type person. I rather look at you and know versus you telling me all the time. The only thing as a man that I appreciate being told from time to time is that I'm appreciated.
Kiana says, I couldn't be with another words of affirmation
person. I know, right? I'm telling you, Kiana, that'd be weird.
Yeah.
Like, hey, what are you doing? I'm just thinking about you. I'm thinking about you too.
Sexy. Yeah. I thought of you all day today.
Oh, I thought about you all year. Like, no, that's just not me, but whatever.
Anyways, this was a fun one. I agree. It could be overwhelming, but again, that's just not us. So it may work for other people.
It may be. It may work.
But words of affirmation are basically just sharing the way that you feel verbally. It's telling your significant other how you feel, not holding back, when it's appropriate
Mhm.
and when it's genuine.
That's correct.
Would you agree?
Yes. So if you are one of those ones that your love language is words of affirmation, and you do get with someone that is clearly that's not
Yeah.
their love language, you have to be patient. You know what I mean? You have to be patient with them, and then just coach them on some of the things that you like for them to do.
Yeah,
You know,
that's helpful, because if you are not that person, yeah, a little guidance and forgiveness is going to be helpful,
yeah,
right?
it's one of those things where if I don't know and I'm not used to it because that's not
Teach
my
me.
love language, yeah, just say, hey, sometimes I like this, or I like to be told blah blah blah, and so forth, and then as a man, it's my responsibility to try to cater towards whatever it is that your love language is.
Right,
But don't get distracted just because a person isn't that way.
right.
You see what I'm saying? You have to let them know this is what my love language is, or this is what I like. It's the same as like going out or anything like that. If you like going out, you express that to your partner. Hey, I like going out every now and then.
I think too, being open-minded is helpful, because as Kiana brought up earlier about like maybe a song, or maybe they heard a poem or saw a card, maybe they just went and got a card that just kind of said how they felt. You have to kind of be open to different ways that, yes, they might not be good verbally, but they're gonna somehow tell you in their own way that
Yeah, but
how they're about their feelings.
But like I said, you got to be careful with that, because if I buy a card or I say, hey, this song reminds me of you, a person that the love language is words of affirmation, you're going to dissect every single word or every verse of that song. Maybe it's the first half of the song that made me think about you.
Clearly communicate that, or black it out where you didn't agree with it. Say, this is a part, it just made me think of you.
Yeah. Or you should be direct, like, hey, the first verse is what I was thinking about, not the whole song.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So you just got to be careful, because like I said, if words are very important to you, you will dissect every single word that I say, because every word has a meaning.
You assume that person's like that.
I assume.
Yes.
Yes.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us. Again, please take the quiz if you have not. Those who had joined us, especially the ones who have the primary love language of words of affirmation, thank you for joining us today. Next week, we are going to do, what's my other one that I have? Let's see, I guess I'll just, acts of service.
Acts of service.
So acts of service will be the next one next week. So we hope you guys join us.
Yes.
And what's today? Thursday. This isn't a holiday weekend. No. So just have a great weekend, I guess.
Yeah, have a great weekend.
It's the first day of summer was yesterday or today?
Shoot, it's hot as hell here.
I know, it already feels
like it is summertime.
In my opinion, I feel like summer starts in May, but it barely started.
Right.
So.
All right. So shout out to Kiana for calling in and expressing
Kiana.
her love language, which is words of affirmation. If you do want to call in and leave a message to be added on to the live, feel free to do so. We are always here on Thursdays at 6 o'clock Mountain Time.
Yeah.
The phone number is listed, 505-528-5653. If you ever want to call in. You can also catch us on YouTube Live if you can't join us here on Facebook Live. Yeah. All right. So until next time, we really appreciate you guys for joining us and your support. We shall holler at you later.
Thanks, guys. Have a good evening.